Good evening. President Ronald Reagan once said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed down for them to do the same. Or one day, we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our grandchildren what it was once like in the United States where men were free." Patriots, that generation and every generation to follow is now. I get asked often, how did we get to a place in our country where the youth feel so entitled? What went wrong to make them hate our flag, our national anthem, our law enforcement, our military, and even our forefathers and the Constitution of the United States? What happened that caused this? Where did we go wrong? How did we get to a place where the Bible, God's Word, the Pledge of Allegiance, and basic respect for mankind is removed from schools and replaced with sexually graphic library books, drag queen story hour, pronouns, and outright anti-American ideology? Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you exactly how this tragedy happened. We, as in Americans, allowed teachers that were far left liberals to infiltrate our school system. From first grade through 12th, and in universities all across our country. Then they, with their warped ideology, infected the minds of their students with their anti-American, no-merit, hate-filled bullshit. Parents over the past few generations started unengaging from their kids' education, turned them over to the education system and thought that they would be taught the same basics that they were: reading, writing, science, history, math. Family units started falling apart, and more divorces started happening within the white communities, and fatherless children in the Black communities. Single parents became part of the norm, which in most cases meant the parent with custody having to work 2 or more jobs just to make ends meet. And latchkey kids became more and more. This caused parents to become unengaged at the school, in the classroom, PTA, and their children's homework assignments. The children's minds were literally infiltrated with the same damn thing our parents and grandparents fought so hard against: liberal, worshiping, full-blown communist socialism. It's a normal process for most kids to grow up, especially when they reach their teen years, to believe that they know everything and their parents are stupid. So instead of taking what their parents say to heart, they look outside of the family unit for direction. They get that direction from their friends, and drum roll please, sadly from teachers and their professors. And that, my friends, is how we find ourselves faced with a generation that is lost both mentally and physically. That is what President Reagan was alluding to. And that brings me to our latest educational disaster that is unfolding. And sadly, little to nothing is being done to stop it. A woke kindergarten teacher is calling for the destruction of America. I'll repeat that. A woke kindergarten teacher is calling for the destruction of America. Glassbrook Elementary School in Hayward, California, spent $250,000 in federal funds provided by a program that was meant to help boost test scores from some of the country's lowest performing schools. But after 2 years, the organization they paid this money to, an organization that is literally called Woke Kindergarten, student scores are reportedly worse. Less than 12% of the students can read at their grade level, and under 4% are proficient in math, a 4% drop in both subjects in the last 2 years after paying the $250,000 to that organization. According to their website for Woke Kindergarten, the head of the organization is named Akia K. Gross, Akiea Ki, and then Gross, whose pronouns are proudly displayed on the website as they, them, or she, him, they, them, or whatever the fuck it is listed as an abolitionist, early educator, currently organizer, and creator, currently innovating ways to resist, heal, liberate, and create with their biology woke kindergarten. She posted on her Instagram profile, and I quote, "I believe the United States has no right to exist. I believe every settler colony who has committed genocide against Native peoples, against indigenous people, has no right to exist. And y'all are the demons. Y'all are the villains. We've been trying to end all of you." She went on to say, "I believe in a free Palestine from the river to the sea." This phrase started in the 1960s as part of a wider call for Palestinian liberation, creating a democracy state, freeing Palestine from living under Israel. Militant Islamic terrorist groups such as the PLO, Hamas, Hezbollah use the phrase often. It's used by such Palestinian militant groups advocating for the dismantling of Israel and a call for the removal or extermination of the Jewish population of the region. Basically, kill all the Jews. In another post on her Instagram profile, she reiterated her stance on America and the stance of the organization that she leads, Woke Kindergarten. When I think about a world free of state violence, I think about a world free of the U.S. empire. I think about a world free of Israel. She also called for all American schools to be abolished. I think about land being given back to indigenous people globally. I think about the fact that we would not have to participate in these systems because none of these systems would exist. That means kids wouldn't have to go to school because the world would ultimately be their classroom. Kids would learn from us, with us. We would learn from them. We would create these ecosystems of community care that would make sure that everybody had what they needed, so nobody would want for anything. We would hear music everywhere. We will make art out of everything. We'll be able to write so much more poetry because we would have so much joy in ourselves that we would need some place to move it, some place for it to land. The people would have the power and the kids would have more too. If all that is not enough to have this crazy person removed from being involved in any way with the education of our children, she also believes that there are extraterrestrial beings that are oppressed. On her X account, formerly Twitter, she posted, "Solidarity with oppressed beings. That's what I meant, how I feel, and what I should have said and always say. Human non-human, animal, and extraterrestrial alike, universally, indefinitely, and always. One would think that after this craziness, those involved with the school, the district would rise up and fire this nut job. But no, that's not what's happening. Hayward Unified District School District Superintendent Jason Reimann, Reimann, told the Chronicle that woke kindergarten had broad approval and said helping students feel safe and whole is part and practical of academic achievement. I get that it's a lot of money and we spent it, he said. We're in favor 100% of abolishing systems of oppression where they hold our students back. What I do believe is we should pick providers based on their work and how effective they are. Newsflash, Mr. Reimann. She is calling for the destruction of America, you moron. And my friends, that is how we got here today. With entitled youth that believe that everyone else, their elders, with the exception of their professors and teachers, are idiots. That believe that if you say all lives matter, that makes you a racist. That want to take a knee during the national anthem because they're NFL multi-millionaire heroes instead of veterans for heroes, told them so, told them that all law enforcement are evil, racist bigots. This is the destruction of our country. This is how they did it. Slowly but surely, liberal ideology infiltrated our school system. And now those kids are graduating and voting. And there's many, many coming behind them that will come out into the world believing that America is a racist, bigot country and that we're no better than anyone else. That is the destruction of our country. It is up to we, the people, parents, to get actively engaged in the school system and to rid our schools of this type of crazy ideology that is literally brainwashing our youth. That same ideology has managed to infiltrate itself all across the nation in city governments, county governments, state governments, and even up in Washington, D.C. The Democrat Party, for instance, that I once was a proud member of, is no longer the party of JFK. It has been infiltrated by far left liberal ideology, and it is helping destroy our country. We must fight against it. We must do everything in our power to pay attention to who we are putting in positions of instructing our children. And we must go back to the basics of God and country, or so help us God, it will be the end. And we can't allow that to happen. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please share it with your family and friends, and tune in on Tuesdays and Thursday nights for the live Douglas Ducote Show. Until then, please have a blessed and wonderful weekend. And please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America, and may God bless each and every one of you.